Hello everybody, welcome back to Wolfeei. Today we're going to be doing a review of the MCC Minecraft 15 Anniversary Bedrock map. I am a Steve, because for some reason my skin isn't allowed to work on this. I don't know, man. I don't play Bedrock like ever, so I'm new to a lot of the things that are going on in this. However, I did end up playing most of the server, or pretty much everything on this server yesterday, including fixing my audio. That was fun. But yeah, if you didn't already know, there is a MCC Bedrock collaborative map, or server rather, on Bedrock. You can access it on the home page of Bedrock. There will be a little button on the bottom left, I think it is, that just says join event, start event, etc. There are 4 games available on the server as of right now. I don't think it'll change because this is a temporary server. It's not like a permanent thing. But you got Grid Runners, you got Ace Race, Sands of Time, and over there it's Meltdown, which is very exciting. Honestly, these are 4 games that I think are very high in demand, or at least were very high in demand to be added to MCC Island. So it's fun to see them all available in one spot at this current moment, even if it's temporary. And let's go over every game one by one, really, because I think there are definitely things to say about every game. They're not the same versions of MCC, obviously, especially because MCC is in Java and Bedrock is a different version of Minecraft. But I've gathered some screenshots or clips of every game to summarize kind of how things have gone on this, because you may think. Also, I should say, before I go into the games, I did upload my VOD and experience of this, by the way. During this, I was a little bit negative about how Bedrock played, but it turns out, according to this comment, who I will just trust their judgment, is that the majority of the issues are server-sided, not Bedrock-sided. So, let me also move out the way. I unfairly judged Bedrock. To be fair, in my defense, I don't play Bedrock ever, so I don't know what is and isn't Bedrock's fault in terms of things not playing super well. So yeah, server-side issues rather than Bedrock issues. Sure, fine. So I take back my negative feedback about Bedrock as a game mode. Either way, let's get into the games. One thing that has become very apparent from how the community acts in servers and opportunities like this is that the number one thing that they will try to do is optimize a run for every single game, speedrun it, try to perfect it immediately. Within 24 hours, we have broken Ace Race, essentially. As you can see here from Ant Venom, there is a record of 2 seconds on Ace Race, 2.5 seconds, which I will play here right now, using some of the features that are available in the hub, like food, which give you potion effects. In this case, I think it is jump boost and slow falling that is mainly going to take effect. Ant Venom's currently setting it up, so you can see on the right side of the screen some effects happening. So that is speed, jump boost, levitation, and slow falling, and it's allowing him to, if you look on the left here, get a 2.581 second run, which makes you a netherite medalist. I think netherite medalist just means you beat the thing in like a minute-ish, so that's irrelevant to this to these high scores. The game's been broken. It's not as if this was the first skip that was found. It actually was a developing thing from the community. A few select people were trying to figure out skips over and over and over. I think it started with like a sub 1 minute, then a sub 50 seconds, sub 40 seconds, sub 30, sub 20, and then this. So Ace Race has been figured out. If you want to, for whatever reason, set a cool time, look at whatever Ant-Man has been up to, because he's making sure to document all of it. There's also some challenges that are included in this whole server thing, which you can see on the challenge list. I've already completed a bunch of them on stream, but for example, in the Red Rabbits challenge, something you need to do is run over a launch pad 50 times while completing the Ace Race minigame. A lot of the Ace Race ones, or actually every single Ace Race challenge, is cheesable by just running back and forth. which I think is fine. It's funny, but it is definitely maybe a potential oversight, or maybe it doesn't really matter. But I thought that was pretty funny. You can just run back and forth over every single one of those things. The Elytra pad enables when you walk over it, and you can just run back and forth, farm it. Pretty silly. I thought it was funny. It made for some great content. Either way, enough about Ace Race. It was fun. I do think, in terms of if any of the games that we're talking about today from this Bedrock map end up being candidates to be put on MCC Island, I've seen a lot of people want Ace Race. I personally think it should be the lowest priority to be added to MCCI because of the way things are going now. It seems to be a game that will have a very short shelf life because it'll need to be actively updated to sustain different gameplay and not have people figure things out within 24 hours, because knowing the pace of how MCCI goes, a game like this would just not be sustainable. Either way, moving on in almost alphabetical order, you'll see why. Grid Runners. Here's a run of someone getting a high score of 787. I don't know what the peak is. I just looked in the Discord and this seemed to be acknowledged as one of the highest potential high scores. Obviously this run isn't the same, but people have been popping off in these games. They've been trying their best to get the highest scores possible. Grid Runners supposedly may be possible to get an 800 to 900 score. I don't think 1,000 is possible, but maybe it is. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Grid Runners is interesting. It is very different compared to... Well, okay, it's not that much different compared to the Bedrock version of Grid Runners. It is significantly different compared to the event version of Grid Runners because the way the challenges work is you have to complete as many objectives within a certain amount of time rather than complete a certain amount of objectives as fast as possible. It's a different approach that they've taken, which is fine, but it does create a very interesting type of gameplay dynamic. I do notice that, you know, Bedrock does have some things available, some cool mechanics available that make Grid Runners a cooler experience, in my opinion. For example, as you can see here from the challenge list, there are 3 game modes that you play. Technically 4 if you count the final leap, but there's 3 game modes that you play in Grid Runners. They're always in the same order. They're always the same. You've got mobs defeated, which is just kill mobs. Waves of mobs will appear. Do it as fast as possible. Next up is the blocks painted, which is you get 8 buckets of color. You get a paintbrush and you throw the paint at a canvas, and it'll only apply the correct color that you need. And then cakes baked is just get a bunch of ingredients and dump them into a thing, and it'll make a cake. Those types of challenges probably could be in the event. They are very simple, so they probably wouldn't be in event. But it is fun to see these types of challenges appear in a map like this. I think it's cool. Either way, Grid Runners, I must say though, obviously the actual Grid Runners map is significantly better, which, to be fair, it's still made by the Noxers, so I think, you know, you can't go that in depth for this specific thing. But yeah, I do much prefer the actual Bedrock map. It is the best rendition of Grid Runners. I can't really say if the event version is better or not than the island version. I would probably say yes, but I have barely played that when I was a tester, so I don't really know, and it's probably changed too much over time for me to be able to fairly judge it. So yeah, either way, that's Grid Runners. Solid game. I think definitely probably the weakest rendition of Grid Runners so far, but it is up there. Anyways, next up is SOT. I think this is probably the most awaited game for people to see played. Obviously, Sands of Time is acknowledged as one of the best, if not the best, Minecraft event game of all time, and by the community, there is a small community specifically really interested in SOT, always defending its popularity and why it is so good. But here you see a top run of SOT. I don't think this is the max, but it is one of the highest possible that you could get, of 2,500 coins earned by one player. The way SOT works is you spawn into the dungeon, and there are 3 main objectives. You have collect coins, which is either from picking up piles or from killing mobs, though I don't think killing mobs rewards that many points. There is second objective, which is collect sand. Sand works differently than it does in the event. The difference is instead of having to pick up sand and bring it back to the main spawn, you just pick it up and it automatically gets added to the timer. It always automatically adds 10 seconds, and there's no limit to how much time you can have, I'm pretty sure, at once. So you just pick up sand and you keep going, which is very good. It makes it more efficient to play the game. One thing that is important to note, though, is that the map is always the same. There's no difference. I think same things spawn everywhere, including the keys, which is the third objective. There's chests you can open, which just gives you coins, but the keys and the chests are in a specific formation. I'd say that there's still 4 tiers. There's a silver, there's gold, there's diamond, and there's netherite. If I remember correctly, I think there are there's 1 netherite chest. I think there's 1 diamond chest. Maybe there's 9 total. It's 1 netherite, maybe 1 diamond, and then like 2 or 3 golds, and then 4 silvers or 5 silvers. One of the 2 versions of that. Either way, the way I have seen things play out so far from playing this several times and getting a good amount of chests opened is that the silver keys are usually near each other, like the key and the chest, they're somewhat in the same vicinity. The netherite one is complete opposite, pretty much, paths, which is fine, obviously, because it's the one that gives you the most points, but very interesting to note. The diamond ones I have had so much trouble to find, but I've just probably not seen the key recently because I keep walking past the chest and forgetting. And then the gold one is just like somewhat close to each other. Either way, I think SOT also is something that very quickly and easily got optimized because it is the same map and people are obviously very passionate to play it, and it is also a solo game, really. There is a team setting, but I don't really know, like, you play the dungeon with other players at the same time, but I don't think your teammates have impact on your gameplay. I think maybe the mobs, but that's maybe it, I don't know. So it is pretty much a solo game, which is very interesting. But I like it. I do think it's probably the most interesting game that they have on the server right now. Maybe Meltdown would be like up there for me too, but there was some performance issues with Meltdown, at least yesterday. I heard that there's going to be a hotfix soon. I just don't know when. But yeah, SOT is probably my favorite out of the 4 games that are available right now, just because it's, in concept a cool game mode, and speedrunning it is like, as much as it is like the same run or like the same path that you should probably take, there's more depth to it, and also, as you can see, it is like a 13.5-minute commitment if you want to do it optimally, or like a 12 minute commitment, and that's very interesting. I think it is, there's a lot of action involved, and I think it's cool. And then finally, the reason we didn't do this in alphabetical order is because Meltdown doesn't really work super great. I mean, it doesn't not work, but on stream yesterday, I queued 3 times. Well, I queued in the beginning, and it worked, and then near the end, I queued 3 times in a row, got into a game, and then randomly got kicked for seemingly no reason, including a run where I did the entire game, and I finish, and the moment I finish, I get disconnected, and I was like, okay, I'm done. Either way, the way Meltdown works is that it kind of feels like Zombies. If you don't know what Zombies is, it is a game mode where you have to defeat waves of mobs, and upon defeating waves, you unlock new areas. It's not the exact same because Zombies is more progression based, whereas this is like challenge room, okay, complete, next challenge room. It's just entirely separated. It's entirely solo. Every challenge room is its own room. But it gave off Zombies vibes to me. It's not the same, but it has similarities. I do think it's interesting though, and the mechanics are fun. It was a little laggy, but that's probably a server issue, if I had to guess. But yeah, Meltdown, pretty cool. I don't have any screenshots of performances in this game. I don't know what a high score is because it didn't really work super well yesterday. but hopefully it'll work a bit smoother either today or at least sometime soon. But yeah, Meltdown, pretty good. I think if I have to rate it out of 10 for every single game, I'd say that my least favorite is either Ace Race or Grid Runners, but it's still like fun. They are games that definitely wouldn't work as well in the way that they're currently designed if it wasn't just a 2-week thing. I think for a 2-week event, that seems to be just very short-lived and just a in the moment, little fun moment to just get people to play. I think this is all fine. It is a thing where I saw on the Reddit, someone mentioned it was, or it felt rushed. I think I can probably find it if I scroll enough. Hold on, I saw this at some point. If I can find it, please. Nope. I can't find it, but someone made feedback saying that, oh, here, there you go, that the server feels rushed, and it is, but again, just like with the teams, I don't know what expectations people had, but within the context of what Noxtrew has been working on, especially MCC's department for the past, couple of months, and what's upcoming at the end of this month, this is totally fine. I think things being a little bit rushed is okay. And again, it is only a 2-week long event that is not supposed to have the most depth, not supposed to have the smoothest gameplay. It's just supposed to be a little fun thing where people get on the server, play a game that they maybe have wanted to see played or play themselves for a while, and just have fun with it. We don't expect every MCC fan to love this. We don't expect every MCC fan to play this. It's just an experience for people to get together for a little bit and just have a little bit of fun. Either way, rating the games, I think every game at least is a 6, because a 6 I think is solid. I do think Ace Race is it's fun. I do think that for me personally, because of just the genre of game, racing games don't appeal to me the most. So it is, in my preference, probably going to be the lowest rank. Probably at like a 6.5, maybe a 7. I think the course is solid, but because obviously it's the same map and it's relatively short, with the same mechanics kind of over and over, with some of the performance issues of yesterday probably also negatively affecting my playthrough. I think it's solid, it's cool. If you wanted to play Ace Race sometime, this is a pretty close representation of what it can sometimes feel like. Obviously in Java it feels a lot different. This one also doesn't have tridents in it, which I think play a pretty big part in the actual Ace Race. They don't have like the water launchers, which I think plays a pretty big part in Ace Race, but it's pretty solid, so like a 6.5 to a 7-ish. Then Grid Runners comes in next at number 3. I think this one's probably a 7 as well. I think it's fun to have the little different challenges come into play. I like that. I do think the team aspect is a little weird. It feels too forced, but I also understand why it's a thing. I don't really think you should play Grid Runners by yourself, but you could, I guess, maybe on the actual official map. But I understand why they went for the team approach, and it makes sense. I do think this game would be really fun to have on Island, but I do understand that it would be an absolute pain to get this all put together for an island setting with so much gameplay and people trying to run through it over and over and over and over and over. But yeah, I probably would rate this a 7. I think it's a solid game. I like it. I do think actual Grid Runners would be like Grid Runners Bedrock map, official Grid Runners, is probably like a 9, maybe 0.5. Like I really liked it when I played it, although it has been probably a little while, so maybe my opinion would change. But it was like a 9.5, and I think in the event setting, I think Grid Runners is like a solid 8. I think like it's good, maybe 8.5 even. So this gets a 7. Next up, SOT. Look, I think honestly SOT is pretty dang good. This might actually be probably my favorite out of the ones that are in, and I'd probably give it like a solid 8, maybe 0.5. I don't know. I think it's fun. I like the mechanics. Oh, hello. I like the mechanics, and they're cool. I think the way it's put together works, and for a 2-week-long event, I think this is a pretty solid way to approach it. I'm a fan. So 8 maybe 8.5-ish range. And then finally, Meltdown, I think it's a 7.5. I think in concept, it's really cool, and I would probably enjoy playing this more if I could, but I had trouble with it. So I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt, and I probably give it a 7.5. So yeah, all of these, very, very solid, good games. I think they're all cool. And it's a cool opportunity that this is happening. Obviously, it's sick to see also some of my friends, or I guess I know all of them, so all my friends make their way into the Minecraft thing with the NPCs. You know, Hannah, H, Callum, and Scott all got a custom NPC in actual Minecraft, which is super sick. Because they all represent each game. Obviously, H-Bomb being the SOT one, Hannah represents Meltdown, Scott represents Grid Runners, and CPK represents Ace Race. Yeah, very cool. I think it's a cool opportunity. I liked it. Probably won't be playing this too much on stream unless things improve significantly in terms of performance. I just was having a lot of issues, including my own hardware issues. I think I have some audio hardware issues, or software issues perhaps, that are not working super well with Bedrock. Either way, let me know your thoughts on this map. Let me know if you've played this and if you had a good time on the server thus far. Obviously, this event will run for a little bit longer. I think there's 12 more days left. It's roughly 2 weeks long of an event. So if you haven't got the opportunity yet to play, I would highly recommend trying it out at least one time. I think the games are pretty fun. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you later, and goodbye.